guys. Let me hold on. Let me turn this down. We don't want to get any copyrights on this. I want to doing a little maintenance on one of the cars today, and wanted to just pick up the camera and bring you guys along. See, you guys didn't know that Mr. Allen don't just do driving and own businesses. I don't mind getting down and getting my hands dirty. Now y'all gonna have to excuse my garage. I'm in the garage this morning rather, and so yeah, I just want to get out here. I had to get out here. I was getting a little scrubbing on my brakes, so we decided to, or I decided that, you know, best thing for me to do is get out here and use what the pops taught me. I ain't gonna call my old man because he thinks he's just as young as me. So get out here and use what the young man taught me. So let me show y'all what we're working with. So as y'all can see, this is the one that's got the brake problem. So we're gonna do brakes on it, and we're gonna do front brake pads, and may have to change the rotors. I'm not sure. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Now, like I said, you guys, I'm a very hands-on person, so I definitely believe in if I got the knowledge, and I'm definitely gonna put it to use. So this job right here, taking it to a dealership, probably would have cost me about $600 or better on this particular unit. And it's crazy because the parts only costing me $50. So, and that was for the actually for the top brand. So I don't know if you guys know anything about vehicles. For those of you who don't, me personally, now everybody else may, you know, you use what you want. My personal opinion though, I like the ceramics. I like the ceramic brake pads. That's what we're putting on today. I like the ceramic brake pads because there's less dust. They're not cheap far as in quality. It costs a little bit more because the regular brakes for it. The regular brakes were like $30. These costed $50. But like I said, I'll pay for that because I use this vehicle. Even if I didn't, I just like. If I can, I like the best of the best for mine. Not bragging, but I just like the best for mine. So we're gonna take you guys or bring you guys along while I do this, and hopefully you guys can. For those of you who've never done brakes before, hopefully, you know, who knows? Maybe you might learn something. So let's get this thing started. As you guys can see. I got my helper right here. He's gonna look at it and make sure don't nobody mess with me while I'm working. Most of the time on these brakes, when you're changing out the brake pads, for me, it's pretty simple. It's just two screws back on the back side of the caliper, and most of the time, all you have to do is just take off one screw and fold the caliper back, and that'll usually take care of it. Normally it's a 15 millimeter, but I'm gonna. Sometimes they range in different sizes. Just depends on what kind of vehicle you're using. Most GM vehicles, I think they're like a 15. And of course, because I said that, this one is not a 15, so let's see what this one is. Now, it's probably the difference in the millimeter, which I'm sure it is, but today we're gonna use a 3/4. That's the one I found. That's the one we're going with. Three-quarter on a, if I'm not mistaken, a 3/4 ratchet. So real simple. Sometimes they're a little tight to get off because now I keep whatever tools I need, so to keep me from hurting my hand. We're gonna use a, actually no, we're gonna use this one here. I use a rubber one because it's less impact and it doesn't damage the tools. Like I said, once I got started already before you guys, before I turned the camera on, but once you take off the lugs, of course, take off the top, this is what you get. Like I said, it's normally 2 screws that hold this on. So this is all you need to move. Take this off, and once we take this screw off, you'll see what we got. Once you take that screw off, like I said, most of the time, all you have to do is loosen up this bottom screw. And that way, all it'll do is slide right on out. Y'all gonna have to excuse me because I am out here working with my tank top on. That's because it's pretty hot. So that's what you get. You take those calipers off. Now normally I would have took off the bottom screw, and that way I could have flipped the caliper up so that it can rest. Because what you don't want is what you got right here. Where this hose is being strained or pulled, it may be dry rotted, and so what happens is you don't want that. You don't want that to break away. But as you can see, these are the brakes here. And yeah, I have allowed them to get down pretty far. Normally my brakes don't get down this far, but these have, now if you have a, of course, like I told you guys, Pops taught me real good, so I believe in tools, and so I bought some tools over the course of the years, and this here is like a little pry bar. I bought a set, actually. It came like 5 in a set, and this is one of the smaller ones that I can use to just pop this right on out. You got little grooves here, and it slides right on out of there. both sides. And that rotor may move a little bit, like you see that. It may move a little bit. Now I'm gonna tell you why that's moving. Because what holds it in place, for you guys that don't know, what holds this in place is this bracket and these brake pads. So of course the back slides out pretty easily. The fronts normally will slide out easy, but there is, you guys can't see it, there's like a little clip here, like a little hip rather, and that keeps the brake pad from sliding off once you put it on. But you just take this little pry bar, if you got a screwdriver, you can use a screwdriver, and just take it, and again, it pops right off. Now, we have, some people change these out, some people don't. Me personally, I'm changing it out because these operate as a guide for your, you probably can't see it, but that's like a little clip, little guide clip that holds the brake pad in, that operates as a guide. It's pretty dirty, you know, pretty built up with corrosion and rust and all that, so we're going to swap that out too as well. Now some people, if they're taking the easy route, they will leave them on and just pop the new brakes on, but me, I always believe in doing something the way it's supposed to be done. So we're going to pop these guys out, swap them out. As you can see, this one's dirty too, so we're going to pop those out. And man, listen, look at these brake pads. These brake pads, you guys can't see it, but let's see if we can't get you some light. So look, these are the brake pads, you guys. You see how wore down they are? Real thin. Now, somebody may say, man, that's still some good pad on there. No, it's not. If your brake pads look like this, it is time to change them. Now, how you know this is if you're meshing on the brake and you get a like a little shaking in your steering wheel, that's probably the rotors. But if you're meshing on your brakes and you hear like a little light squeak in the morning, sometimes in the morning it does that because of the dew on the tires or whatever. If you live in the South, you know, the moisture and stuff. But if that car, if you've been running that car for a minute and you go to mesh those brakes and you hear like a little squeaking, that squeaking is an indicator. If you see right here, these brake pads come with little indicators. This little thing right here, that's an indicator. Once that brake gets down too far, now it's actually longer than that, and I'll show you the difference of it on the new ones. It's actually longer than this, but once that brake pad gets down so far, the reason they scrub is because when you mesh the brakes, they rub up against the rotors, and so because of that, it makes a squealing noise just to let you know, hey, it's time to get some brakes before they get down this far. So I'm gonna turn you guys back around, and we're gonna get the new brake pads out. That way we can show you guys how they're supposed to look. All right, you guys, so these are the new brake pads. Like I said, house brand for O'Reilly's, and this is not a plug for them, but these are the brands I use. For many of you that don't know, I used to be a supervisor at O'Reilly's, so therefore I know a lot about their products, and so I trust them. I trust them. Now, these are the new guides, and you see the difference. probably can see, well, you can see it. See how clean they are versus those versus these. So we're gonna put these on. Sometimes they're made a little different. Sometimes they're made a little different, and so they go right back. Like I said, occasionally I like to just double check on things. Ain't nothing wrong with reading instructions. Let me be the person to say, you know, some people, and I have to admit, I'm like that on some things. I will, but I'm like that when I know what I'm doing. You know, if I haven't done it before, I have a tendency to not read the instructions. But this rip here, we're gonna read the instructions. Just to double check, because I'm gonna tell you what some people do. Bad about this, they'll come and buy something from the parts store and they'll take it back. They'll take it back and they will take it back because they came and they only needed a certain part, and so they swap their part out. And so what happens is they'll bring it back, and when they bring it back, it has the wrong parts in it. So that's why I like to double check my parts. But hold on, you guys, because we're running out of a little battery juice, so let's get some juice. All right, you guys. So listen. Took a little break, had to make some adjustments here so we can get some power, you know, and add a little light. All right, so listen, I told you guys about the different brakes, as far as the difference in the looks. Now, these are the old. I don't know if you can see that real good, but these are the old. See how thin they are. These are the new. Big difference. Big difference. Yeah, like big difference. So I'm just glad I know the things I know, and nothing foreign to me. So like I said, Dad taught me real well, and to say the least, I paid attention because I knew that he was teaching me something that I needed to know. So alright, just like that, they're on, you guys. See if we can't take it off and show you. Alright, so like I told you guys, it's just two screws that hold on the caliper. This is the caliper here now. These right here, hold on. Alright, so this is the caliper here. You see these two cylinders here? This is what controls the pressure on your brakes. When you mash the brake, these push out and push these in to stop, and then of course when you take out the brake, it releases, the brake slides back. Now what I'm going to do, because as you can see they're pushed out now, over the course of you mashing the brakes and of course the brakes wearing down. These stay extended, and when they stay extended, it's because they won't, they won't have too far to extend when they go to stop you again. That's where your anti-locks and all that come in. Now, what I like to do is, because you put these new brake pads on here, and of course when you get ready to push this back up, as you can see, it's not gonna go because they've been pushed out. So what I do is I take my old pads. I like to take my old pads, place them in there like so, and then what we do is we take a C-clamp. You take a C-clamp, you will open this up, and you're going to use this to put on the back side, and I'll show you guys. You use this to put on the back, to put over the top of this like so, and once you turn this in, it'll push the caliper back in where it needs to be. Now, when you do this, make sure that you have your cap on your brake cylinder. Now, I don't know who else may be trying to, do this, but make sure you pop your hood, and on your brake cylinder, on your brake booster, where your brake fluid goes, loosen up that cap. And when you go to put that way, when you push this back in, you don't lose or you don't bust, damage your brake, your master cylinder. So you need to release that cap so it can give it a vent, so to speak, for pressure to be released back into, so the fluids can go back into the reservoir, and that way you won't damage the reservoir and have to replace that too. So I'll take a picture of that later, show you guys. I went up under the hood and done that, opened up the reservoir so that I could, when I go to push the calipers back in, brake fluid won't get everywhere and it won't damage my master cylinder. Now, I'm gonna do this first side. Like I said, I just want to kind of walk you guys through the first side, so you guys, for those of you who don't know, that may want to, like I said, save yourself some money, because I believe in saving money. Like I said again, the economy is where it's at, and we definitely want to save all the coins we can. So we just take this caliper and, like I said, you just push it back in. Do it real slow. Like I said, that way it gives it time to register back in the reservoir. Like I said, normally I would have my other one that does a little bit better than this one, because most of the time on larger vehicles they have double cylinders, and so with that, it's best that you push them both in at the same time. That way. So I'm gonna have to do this in a little different. We're gonna have to go about it this way. Have to improvise sometime. I'll squeeze it from the back. That way we can get this thing, that way we can get it squeezed in properly. So we got them squeezed in even, and we got them pushed all the way back in, so that way the caliper can slide back over the brake pads, and we can go to the next side. Now, some of you guys may say, hey, listen, I ain't finna put no brake pads on, so I don't need to watch this. But for those of you who are watching, of course, it's very much appreciated. Cause like I said again, you never know when you're gonna need to do this. And you know what? I have some ladies out there who will try to do anything. So I'm hoping that this video, that this vlog here is giving you some pointers. And as you can see, you got to see it back on. Everything's back intact. So we put the screw back in, tighten it back down, and hey, there you have it. A successful brake job. Now, I'm going to do the other side as well without talking. That way I can just kind of speed through it. Because normally, for me, on the brake pad, changing out brake pads, it doesn't take long at all. It just takes a few minutes, probably about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes per side, and I'm done. It really doesn't. I know you guys probably saying, well, man, when I take my car to the shop to get brakes done, take them all day. Yeah, that's because they got other cars ahead of you, so that's to be expected. But honestly, it doesn't take all day just to swap out brake pads. So you want to definitely make sure that these are tightened down. These screws are tightened down real good, because the last thing you want is for these things to bag out of there, bag out, and then you're gonna have a problem. Alright, so I want to make sure those are tugged, so I'm gonna give them a little bump. Just like that, they're done. New brake pads on, I feel a whole lot safer when I stop.